Hello all, it is Chelsea Face Reads. It is one of my favorite times of year because I get to make this video, which will be talking about all of my favorite books in 2025. So I hope you're excited. Let's get into these awesome reads for the year. I hope that you have all had a marvelous year. It's been a rough one, but a good one. Reading wise, I read a lot less books than I normally do. I don't know what the deal was. I haven't gone over my stats yet. That's going to be a video I do eventually post into the new year. I want to take a moment to bring some positivity into the world. First day of the new year when I'm filming this, and discuss with you some of my favorite reads of the year. Let's get into all the books I read, starting at number 10. We're gonna go from 10 to 1. I did read a lot of really nice things that aren't included in this list, but I just decided to do 10 just so that we could keep it nice and clean. My favorite books of 2025, number 10, would be a book that I was gifted by a friend. It's Love and Other Atrocities by Ray Linehan. This is a smutty romance. There's bi characters, there's a lot of smut. It's very religious based, very demonic based, very interesting. I've never read anything like this. I've been wanting to get into more adult romance as of late, but this was like my first foray into really jumping into that since years ago. I think I read a couple of contemporary romances that got a little smutty, but this definitely is probably the most smutty adult actual book that I've read in my life. Now I'm going to be trying out some more of those, probably more on the darker side. I kind of consider this like a darkish romance only because of the subject matter being angels, demons, demonic stuff, but I don't know if that's what it's actually categorized as. That's just a Chelsea thing. I really did enjoy this, and I want to be honest with you guys. I was gifted this book by the author because I am friends with them. I was so skeptical, and I want to be real, I was really skeptical that I would hate this. Like, I don't read things like this. I had never really read it. I was scared that it would be one of those things where they gift it to me and we never talk about it because I was just didn't enjoy it. But I got a signed copy, which is exciting, and I think this is gonna have sequels based off of how it ended. But I did like this. I genuinely liked it. I think I gave it 4 stars. It was funny. There's a lot of banter in it. There's a lot of teasing, a lot of Star Wars talk, a lot of funny references to, you know, media. There's references to where we live in here. And I know that if you don't live here and you don't know this person, you probably wouldn't catch those things, but I did actually mark up this book. I wrote in it hometown stuff. Like, there's some really cool inspirational things that I think that the author got from where we live, which is pretty cool. I've never gotten to do something like that, and it's just really cool to actually really love the books that my friend is putting out, which has been crazy because I was so scared that I would hate them all, but that's just me being a negative Nancy. And if your name is Nancy, I'm sorry, but I did love this, and I continue to be impressed by their writing. So I do recommend this if you're interested in something smutty, something sacrilegious, because that for sure is what this is. But it is a good time. I really enjoyed what I read. Number 9 in this list is Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke. This is a short story, and I did not get the pretty edition that you see here. I had to read the version of it that was in the short story collection, which hopefully it wasn't changed or anything, because I had heard so many good things about this story. Messed up things, but good things. And I only read this one story in the collection, so it's, without spoiling too much because it is so short, it's a story about a woman who she's trying to sell, I believe, like a can opener, an old can opener or something on like a Facebook marketplace or Craigslist or something, and this other woman is interested, so they begin talking, and through their conversations they start to like each other and kind of form a bond, and it gets really twisted. That's all I'll say about it. It's very gross, it's very morbid and gory, so just be aware of that before you pick it up. But it is really good. I want my husband to read this one. It's one of those that I'm like, dude, if you want something scary or gross or weird, I got you, because I want him to read this and we discuss it because it's got some really interesting themes within it. I really loved it though. This cover is stunning. I'll eventually get a copy. I just don't know if it will be this one, a new one, or the short story collection, which I'm not really interested in for some reason. It hits number 9 on my list for a good reason, and I do hope that you'll check it out if you like horror. Number 8 on this list is one that surprised me. I tend to like Catriona Ward's books, but I don't really expect to like them. Maybe that's just another one of me being a negative Nancy. Sorry, Nancy's. But I really liked this one a lot. It was definitely in its spot number 8, Looking Glass Sound by Catriona Ward. How do I explain this book? I've noticed in the 2 books of hers that I've read that they're very confusing. It's very hard to know where the story's going overall, but I do enjoy the ride. It's kind of like the characters are interesting to me. I like being in their head and seeing what their thought processes are like. I liked our main character. He is an author and he's trying to write down experiences he had when he was a kid at this, I guess, this island where they have a vacation home thing. He's having trouble remembering things, and he's got these friends that he made, and then it goes to another time period where he's an adult and when he's in college. Overall, this was not what I wanted it to be, but still ended up being very good. This does have some LGBTQ representation in it. Sad at times, it's horrifying at times, it's got a weird twist in it that isn't necessarily like super surprising, but also wasn't expected. It was just like oh, there's a twist in here. Okay, cool. I did really like it, but can I explain to you what this was? No, I cannot, because it went all over the place. Some people may hate that. I could see some people being like, this is the worst book I ever read. But to me, I enjoyed the ride, even if it was weird. And I will be reading more Catriona Ward because all of her books seem to make me feel that way, where like, even though I can't fully explain the plot to you, I still really liked what I got into. So I do put this at number 8 on my list, and recommend it if you like weird, out there horror books, because it was fun. Number 7 on my list is We Used to Live Here. This book was one that I checked out from the library. I do want to get a copy of it eventually. I just haven't yet. I just figured this would be like a haunted house story and wasn't really sure what to expect. I went into it kind of blindly because I wanted to experience it that way. I was really impressed. This book was following a lesbian couple who they buy houses and renovate them, I guess, to make money and to flip them. One partner went to the store or something and left the other one at the house as they were moving into it, but it wasn't really fixed up well. They were just moving in it to fix it up. And so the other partner's there and she's like, this is creepy, but you know, it's our new home, we'll make it work. And then she gets like a knock at the door, and it's this family. I believe it's a son, a daughter, a wife, and a husband. I could be wrong on that, but I do know there's at least a wife, a daughter, and a husband. And the dad's like, oh, I used to live here when I was a kid. Is it okay if I show the house to my family? I've talked about it so much and they're really interested, and I just want to show them where I used to live and grew up. And then she's like, instantly she's like, oh, hell no. Like, she doesn't like the vibe. She doesn't want to. Even though they seem friendly, like, she really has no reason to not let them, and they're really persistent. And so she just gives in and she just lets them come in. And that was her big mistake, because now there's issues with them leaving. And I won't explain how or why that happens, but it's really creepy. It had a really good atmosphere. I could very easily visualize what was going on in this book and how terrifying everything was. But it wasn't like what you expect, because I expected it to be one way and it surely was not. So it does get really interesting and has a few twists and turns there, but overall I really do recommend this one. It was a good time. I had a lot of fun reading it. I read it pretty quickly, and there's even like some lore stuff you can get into. If you go online and you look it up after you've read it, you can read some lore behind parts of this book that people have either made up or tried to figure out behind the scenes, trying to find hints of what this could mean, because some of this stuff wasn't explained and some of it was. So I don't know if there will be another book in this series or if it's just a standalone and you're just meant to question everything, but I do know that the author has a new book that just came out or is about to come out that I'm really interested in picking up as well. So yeah, I do really recommend this one if you like a good scary book. The next book on this list, number 6, is one that I had highly anticipated this year. I do have quite a few that I anticipated that coming out this past year. It was a great year for me personally because I'm very picky about authors that I genuinely have to pick up every book they write. And this year I got 2 or 3 of those. So we got Kill Creatures by Rory Power. Remember back in like, I think 2019, 2020 when I started rereading again? Really reading, like jumped back into it. It was right before COVID. I had just started getting back into books. Rory Power stuck out to me because of Wilder Girls. I was obsessed with that book. That book really ignited my love of reading again. It was so easy to digest. It really molded my taste in books. Kill Creatures was really good. It wasn't as good as Wilder Girls. I think that I like it about the same as Burn Their Bodies Down, which was another book that she wrote, but I liked this one. It's like a YA thriller is how I would categorize it. We're following this girl, and there's definitely LGBTQ representation in most of her books, if not all of them. She is in love with one of her friends, and they have a little friend group, and it's kind of unclear throughout the book if good friends or not until the very end when you figure out what all's going on for real. The book presents itself very bluntly as to this setup, so I'm not spoiling this part for you. This one girl, she's going to a funeral, like a vigil at the beach, where her 2 friends disappeared. They went missing. No one's found their bodies. No one's found any evidence that they died or evidence that they're alive for, I think, a whole year, maybe more, but it's been a while. She's going there, but she admits in her own mind that she killed them. Like, she's like, I know they're not coming back, but I have to go and pretend like it's a secret that she has. All of a sudden, one of the girls washes up on shore. So chaos ensues at this vigil. She's there with her family, and the whole book, you're not sure if she's really the bad guy or if she's just crazy or what's going on. But eventually you do get all the secrets revealed and what actually happens and who's the good guy versus the bad guy, and drama between friends ensued, and if anyone's dead or if they're not. But I was led to believe this might be like a zombie book, but it definitely wasn't what I expected. So without giving away everything, I do recommend this because it was really fun. It was twisty. It was easy to read. It's YA, so it doesn't take forever, and I just really like the cover too. Like, it's got these teardrops on it. But I love Rory Power. I will be picking up her books. The only one I haven't read that she's published that I'm aware of is the fantasy one, and maybe I should, since it's like a fantasy and she wrote it. So I hope to check that one out soon, but this one was definitely worth a read. Another book that's on this list that was highly anticipated for me in 2025, one of my favorite authors, possibly like my top 2 or 3 favorite authors. I can't quite decide who the first one is in my list, but this is Vanishing World by Sayaka Murata. Love Sayaka Murata's books. She has a way of putting me in a place that I don't necessarily want to be in. Like, I don't understand why I'm here and what the point of it is, but I'm enjoying looking through the eyes of the characters that she creates. Like, in this book, we are following a young girl at the beginning where she's in a world, it's a different reality in the future where people don't fall in love, get married, have babies. Like, that's not the typical way of conceiving. Don't have relations in bed with their spouse. Once you marry someone, they're like a family member, like a brother or something. Like, it's gross to have relations with them. Very interesting idea. And she is brought up with her mother at a very young age because her mom raised the old way. So, like, you do get married, you do conceive and have kids with your husband. And so she grows up thinking that's normal until she goes to like high school or something. Everyone's like, that's disgusting. That is incest. What is wrong with you? Because she was thinking that's how it worked. This book is a commentary on many things involving love, involving marriage, involving relationships with genders and different people, exploring yourself and what you believe to be correct in terms of like relationships and family. This questions family a lot. And what is family? What is love? What is a relationship? What is a marriage? What is a couple? And her struggling within herself to come to terms with what she actually feels and what she is made to believe is true. So she goes back and forth between which is right and which is wrong, and her own morality in that. I do feel bad for a lot of the characters in this because it seems that most people want to do the right things socially and morally, but it is so silly at the same time to read about a husband and wife who think it's gross to do it with each other. So they have different ways of conceiving. It's not, I don't want to explain that because that's a spoiler in here. It ends up feeling like a very dystopian world of you don't really have your own children. They're kind of shared with people, but not in a fun way. This might depress some people, like if you're worried this could be what it is like in the future, which honestly, with how people are becoming less and less social, it's not that far-fetched other than just some of the physical feats that happen in here. There's a point where men can get pregnant. I want you to be aware of that before going in because that might be triggering to some people, but that can happen in this world. It's very interesting and very unique. It's something I've never read and something that I don't know if I'll ever read again. Not on purpose, but because I don't know if many people will write books like this. Maybe there is something out there like this, and if there is, let me know, because I was truly inspired to discuss this book with my husband once I finished it. Like, I really wish he could read it and then us really get into it, but it's a very short book for what all it has. It's like 230 something pages. So for such a small book, such a short experience, I feel like I went through years of information and evolution / de-evolution of the human experience, but it was really good. I do recommend it. Hello everybody. Sorry for the random cutoff, but my camera died, so I'm gonna continue this video in a new location. I hope that I accurately described my feelings and thoughts on Vanishing World because I really did love that book. But number 4 on my favorites of 2025 is Night of the Mannequins. This is by Stephen Graham Jones. This is a short story novella. To give you enough about this to not spoil it, this is a story about a group of friends who one day stumble upon a abandoned mannequin. I think he's in the woods, and they decide to keep him, take him home, give him like a personality, and then things go from there. That's all I'm going to tell you because honestly, I thought this was going to be one way and it ended up being totally different, but so much better than I would have anticipated. So I really, really highly recommend this if you like a twisty, psychological, gory thriller horror. This was a good time. I also would give number 3 to The Shining by Stephen King. I don't read a ton of Stephen King, especially close together, because I have to be in the mood. I like his works, but they're very dense, so I have to just be ready to go through it. The Shining was really fun. I think it might be my 3rd favorite Stephen King that I've read so far. I have to say that it was very scary. I love the movie, but it is very different from the movie. I think the book does a better job of showing us Jack's good and bad sides and like his descent into madness instead of just him being evil from the beginning. I think that he's trying to change at the beginning of this book, and it's just really interesting seeing how the hotel corrupts him even more and makes him even harder to deal with and more violent as the book goes on. Of course, it's not aged super well. I don't know if there's any newer versions of it, probably not, but there's the F word, N word, you know, those things that he usually has in his old books. Yeah, other than that, it was a very fun horror book. I loved the hedge scene, and I've heard people talk about that scene that they hated it, so maybe I'm just in the minority of that. I liked that scene. I thought it was really scary and it was very suspenseful, but it was really, really good. I do recommend. The book in my number 2 spot, and I know these top 2 or 3 were very difficult to pick. I loved a lot of the books I read this year, and I plan on doing a video talking about all of the books I read in 2025. Now granted, that's going to take me some time to film because I did read a lot, but I want to talk about them all because some of them I didn't vlog, some of them I probably didn't even mention at all. Number 2 though, in this spot is Chlorine by Jade Song. Y'all, this was way better than I had expected. I think I had not really known what this was other than people told me it was really weird, it was really gross, and that it was about a girl who wanted to be a mermaid. That's really all I knew about this going in. Hearing the words weird and getting the same vibe I got from the booksellers about this book as I did from Earthlings by Sayaka Murata is what made me buy this. Anytime they have that reaction to a book, I'm more likely to pick it up, and it always ends up being amazing. So I love this. It was not a very long story. I think that if you enjoy aquatic stories, if you enjoy stories about sports, if you enjoy stories about kids growing up, coming of age stories, it's a group of young people. The main girl here, she loves mermaids, she's obsessed with them, and she joins a swim team, and she just slowly starts convincing herself that she is a mermaid. Like, she's meant to be a mermaid. She's going to be a mermaid regardless of what that takes. And it gets pretty weird. There's also some sapphic stuff in here, which I thought was really sweet. There is an assault in this, so just be aware. It's not like the most graphic I've ever seen, like a horror novel, but it is on paper. It happens. But I typically am someone who gets bothered by those, and this one didn't bother me that bad. So if that's any indication to you, if you should pick this up, I do still recommend it. I don't think it was so horrifying that you wouldn't sleep for days because of it, but that's just my opinion. Of course, do your own research if you are someone who is very sensitive to those kind of things. Just be aware that it's in here. Otherwise, this was fantastic. Really creepy, really weird, very fun to read for me. I've heard some people say this is their least favorite book they read, but to me it was so unique and so inspiring. Like, I want to pick up her next book, and I think she has one coming out this year, actually, in 2026. So I do have it in my wish list that I want to get it. So we'll see if it's any good too. But hopefully I enjoyed as much as I did this one, because this was a fun ride for me. And I know you've all been waiting for it. If you haven't seen my vlog where I talk about it, my #1 favorite book of 2025 is Slewfoot by Brom. Okay, so I've heard a couple of booktube girlies who are into horror say that this is a great book. They love it. It might be their favorite book. I guess I just assumed that it wasn't going to be for me when I kept hearing about it. I eventually just said, you know what? My library has it. I can ask them for a copy. So I borrowed it from the library, gave it a shot. And it was so fun, y'all. Like, I was entranced from the first 2 chapters. Like, we're following this girl named Abatha, and she is a red-headed queen. Like, she is sold off to a Puritan colony, so it's old. 1666 I think is the year it starts, which is funny because 666. And she's sold as a bride because her family needed money, and she's sold off to this other country, and they're way even more behind in the times than her colony was. So she's sold as a bride to this guy who obviously has some type of mental disability. I don't know if he is autistic or if he's just got some kind of other issues that we don't know about, but it's obvious that he's sweet on her. He's nicer to her than everyone else thinks he should be, and she loves him, of course, as much as you can as a sold bride. They get along pretty well. Of course, you know, she's super feminist for her time period that she's in. She ends up meeting this demon named Slewfoot. I don't want to tell you everything about the story, but I'm just going to tell you he's a demon because that's what you know going in. He's got like hooves and goat face and horns and then really scary, you know, like your typical image of the devil. She converses with him and makes deals with him, and he helps her and she helps him, and he's trying to figure out who he is. And it's just a really beautiful story. It's got a lot of magic. It's very folksy, fae-ish, wild folk themed. I loved how witchy and magical this was. There's also some beautiful illustrations in the middle of the book from Brom himself. He's also a very talented artist, so holy crap, these are so pretty. One of them is a spoiler though for the end of the book, so I don't recommend looking at them, or at least the last one, until you get to the end, because that might spoil it for you. If not, then no big deal. It didn't really ruin the book for me. At your own risk, I guess. I love this. I love Abatha. I love Slewfoot. I loved the characters, even the bad ones. They were really interesting to read from. We had some really good villains. There's a lot of religious commentary in this, a lot of religious trauma and drama in this. It was just so good. I highly recommend this if you are curious at all. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you take a chance to try out some of these books, maybe all of them, if they sound interesting at all to you, because I love a good book, and these were some of my faves. So I do hope that you will like, comment, and subscribe for more of my content. I like to talk about books and manga here, so let me know what you want to hear from me next time. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.